Hey guys, Andrew coming at you, and I thought it'd be great to do like a Q&A on my first video that I have here on why I moved to Sweden from the United States. I've gotten lots of questions on it, well, not tons of questions, but I'm starting to get some questions on here, and I was recording today, and I thought I would go back through and I would look through some of the questions and try to answer them. Now, I will answer the questions. I might not get to all the questions today because I think I should keep this video to be about maybe 10 minutes and not go over. However, what I'm going to do is as I keep getting videos on this one and other videos I have on Sweden, I will try to answer as many as I can. I wish that there was somebody out there making YouTube videos to help me when it comes to the move. Now, I will first try to answer as many questions as I can, and I'm going to go through and read them. And then what I'm going to try to do in the future, probably in the near future, I won't be able to do it maybe this week, but I want to eventually then make a video for you guys where I go into in more detail what I think are the most important things you learn if you're moving to another country, especially if you're not from an EU country. Certain things you need to have in Sweden that it's kind of a hard time, because the truth is people try to help you, but if they're never if they're originally from the country that you're from, like if they're from Sweden, they might have some trouble helping you, and especially if you're moving by yourself and not because you met someone that's Swedish. When I originally came here, I came on my own, and it wasn't because I had met someone that's Swedish. So it makes things a little more challenging. I hope the lighting's okay. The location that I'm using is a bit different for this video, but I hope it's still helpful for you. So the first question I have here is from Mitchell, and he says, how did you move your personal belongings to the US? I guess he meant maybe how I moved my personal belongings to Sweden, or how I moved them back and forth. What I'll say is this: when I came to Sweden, I didn't bring a whole lot. I brought like a huge suitcase, and I just loaded it up, and then I just paid the extra fee. I brought clothes and things like that over, but I kind of left a lot of stuff behind. I think when you're moving and traveling, unless it's like clothes and stuff, it's better to sell the things you don't need and buy. So like if you have a huge massive computer, maybe you want to ship that. But I wouldn't try to pack so much stuff. I would kind of try to travel light. I just am somebody that likes to travel light. So if you're going to leave light, nowadays you can just have an iPad or a laptop that you can use as a TV if you're going to stay for a year. And then if you're going to stay longer term, you can spend that. Like right now I'm in an apartment, as you can see here. And if I stay in student and continue, I'll probably buy an apartment and kind of expand from here. But this is not the biggest living space that I live in. But it's worked for me for the first couple of years when I lived in Sweden. But I know people that have, I had a friend that shipped a car over, and I think it cost him roughly $700 to $800 US, and he shipped a car over to Sweden from Stockholm. There were some bells and whistles he had to do, but it does seem possible to ship things. So obviously shipping a car would probably be worth it, especially if you already own the car. But and mailing things, though, I will say this, like, if you try to mail things, like I have ordered contacts and things online, and sometimes they get hit with the tax. But if you want to buy an iPad or some kind of electronic device, it's much better to have someone get it to you as a gift and mail it over because of the tax rate. So that's always the case as well. So there have been a few times where maybe I ordered something and had it shipped here. Or if I knew a friend was coming here from Sweden, I might order something. Samantha, you asked me tons of questions here. And I will try my best to go through them as best as I can. What are some of the cultural mishaps you stumbled into? It's hard because I've been here such a long time. I think that's a video I can make on its own, but what I will try to answer is I find that Scandinavian people overall are a little bit more reserved, a lot more shy, and a little bit less outgoing at first. So I found that it takes a very long time to maybe make Swedish friends, but I don't think there's anything wrong with people that are Swedish. It's just that they're a little bit more shy. If you're moving and you're going to work somewhere that's international, I don't think you'll have a hard time making friends with people, so that should be fine. So that's the first question I have. Next question, are clothes and other items like that as expensive as people say they are outside the US? I mean, if you're shopping at H&M, or you can still find great deals, but there is a higher tax rate. Things that I think are worth buying in the United States and bringing over would be things like Levi jeans. Converse shoes are really popular here, and I've always found Converse shoes back in the States to be less expensive. So I think really nice quality American brands, when you go home, that's definitely stuff worth buying. I definitely think electronics are cheaper in the United States than here. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more for clothing. There is a higher tax rate, and it is more money for things than in the United States. That's a real thing to see. But as far as maybe clothing and things like that, I think it's still reasonable. But if you can buy some American brands of stuff you need that you like, that are nice quality stuff, certainly bring it over. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Is it easy to get around using public transportation as people say? Generally, how do buses and trains run? Okay, great question. Sweden has some of the best public transportation in the world, and let me find, actually I don't have one with me now, hold on one second. In Sweden, for buses and trains, for local trains for me and buses in the community that I live in, I know it's the same in Stockholm and other areas, you can get a card. People can pay a monthly fee for a card. That's probably a good idea if you're living in Stockholm. Otherwise, I put money on this card and I use it for the bus and I use it for the train. They run pretty well on time most of the time, which is really, really nice. Public transportation in Sweden is awesome to the point where nowadays, like if the train doesn't come exactly on time when it's supposed to, I'm not too happy about that, and I'm a little bit freaked out, and I think that something's majorly wrong when it's not always the case. So that is something I don't think you have to worry there. When it comes to booking trains, though, it's one important thing to know is if you're going to travel with SJ trains, which you might want to come back to this video later, you can book seats or not book seats, but there's certain trains where you can sit, so sometimes that's valuable to know. And I'll have to probably do another video on that at another time because I'm sure I'm not going to be able to get through everything now with this to be helpful. But I hope that was helpful for you. I definitely think they run on time. Oh, cost for transportation. I'm not 100%. That was your other question, was what is the cost for transport? If I'm going to do it in crowns, sometimes it's about, like for me, if I'm going to take a quick train ride, 75 crowns. I think like an average bus train, that's one way. An average bus ride is like 22 crowns, but they have these deals, like these monthly deals in Sweden, where I think it's about 1,000 crowns to maybe 1,500 crowns a month you pay, depending on your age, where you can ride the bus or the trains unlimited within your local area. So like Stockholm's got, you know, underground trains, buses, you know, Gothenburg has the tram, buses and trains, and so you can also pay like this monthly fee, and that is also very helpful. And you can do that. So that's the monthly cost. What sort of food delivery can you get in Sweden? That has to be like the most American question ever, and I totally get it because I feel the same. You know, when I first came here in Sweden, there wasn't a lot of delivery at all, but it has gotten much better. There are pizza deliveries, like online pizza, I think you can order where people call. But I always personally found it to be a bit complicated in the area of Sweden where I lived in, still with the language barrier and stuff, figuring it all out. I have a feeling in Stockholm, though, if you rang a pizza place and asked for that, it might be a little bit easier. Most people do speak English, but sometimes they run into trouble. But I would say the delivery, mostly pizza places, maybe there's some Chinese places as well that deliver. I don't live in the Stockholm area, but I would find that the pizza, that's the case. It's not as common and it's not as fast. Like one time I ordered a pizza and it was like an hour and a half later till I got the pizza. That was a mishap. Most of the time though, I think it's like within an hour, but definitely coming from America, it's a bit different as far as that goes. It seems that people cook a lot more in Sweden, and it's probably because it would get pricey to order out a lot more. Oh, okay, here's another one. Do they have Dr. Pepper? Very interesting. I don't think they do have Dr. Pepper. I'm not sure if I have even seen Dr. Pepper here or found Dr. Pepper here. And I'm not sure. Let me see if I can... Dr. Pepper... Let me just see if I can actually order it anywhere. I don't think so. It's got to be very, very rare to find it. I haven't seen it, but it doesn't mean it's not completely available. But to my knowledge, no, I haven't seen it. So I hope that that is helpful for you. So most of these questions is from one person here, Samantha. But I'm sure as my video keeps going, there's going to be many more people with these videos. And I have to tell you, what I do ask is that you like and share these videos with other people that you know that might be moving to Sweden. This will be the first Q&A, and I will try to edit this so that it looks okay for you guys and that it's enjoyable. But this is the first video of many that I want to do based on this topic. I'm going to try to keep these roughly around this length, and I will continue to answer questions that you have. That's as far as I can get today. But I'm very thankful and happy that I found kind of a place on YouTube where, you know, I can be helpful and answer some of the questions, because some of them I haven't thought about, and they went, wow, that's a great question. Like this public transportation one, really great question. And I hope I did a decent enough job. But you might come here and then have a question as well. So, you know, feel free. But this is the first one of the series of questions that I have. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I get many more questions. So if you're going to ask me questions about Sweden, even if you're Swedish and you want to ask, I want to answer as best I can because I think that's fun and it's something different. So thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.